The opulent chamber of the Galactic Council was a testament to the diversity of the cosmos. Representatives of countless species filled the tiered seating, their forms ranging from amorphous blobs to crystalline structures, from multi-limbed insectoids to feathered avians. Yet, all eyes were fixed on the two figures standing at the center podium: Ambassador Sarah Novikov, representing the nascent Terran Alliance, and Commander Kurok, the imposing figurehead of the Zylt Empire. The tension in the air was palpable. A territorial dispute in the Epsilon Eridani system had brought these two powers to the brink of war. Today, they would present their cases before the Council, hoping for a resolution that would avoid bloodshed. Kurok, a towering reptilian humanoid adorned with gleaming armor, began his address. "Honorable Councilors," he boomed, his voice echoing through the chamber. "The Zylt Empire has a long and illustrious history of bringing order to the galaxy. Our technological prowess and military might are unmatched. The Epsilon Eridani system, rich in resources and strategically vital, rightfully belongs under our dominion." With a flourish, Kurok activated a holographic projection. It depicted a simulated battle, Zylt warships effortlessly dismantling a meager Terran fleet. "As you can see," Kurok sneered, "the Terran Alliance poses no threat to our forces. Their outdated tactics and inferior technology are no match for our superior firepower and strategic acumen." A wave of murmurs and gasps rippled through the chamber. The Terrans, newcomers to the galactic stage, had gained a reputation for resilience and adaptability, but this display seemed to confirm their perceived weakness. Novikov, a petite woman with fiery red hair and piercing blue eyes, calmly waited for the murmurs to subside. "Esteemed councilors," she began, her voice clear and resolute, "the Zylt Empire's simulation is a fascinating work of fiction. However, it fails to account for the most crucial element in any conflict, the human spirit." Kurok scoffed, his reptilian eyes narrowing. "The human spirit? A quaint notion, Ambassador, but ultimately irrelevant in the face of overwhelming force." Novikov met his gaze unflinchingly. "Throughout our history, Commander, humanity has faced seemingly insurmountable odds. Yet, time and again, we have risen to the challenge, not through brute force, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and the unwavering determination to protect our own." She gestured towards the holographic display, which now depicted a series of historical battles: the outnumbered Spartans holding the pass at Thermopylae, the English longbowmen devastating the French cavalry at Agincourt, the American carrier fleet turning the tide at Midway. "These are not mere legends, Commander," Novikov continued. "They are testaments to the indomitable spirit of humanity. We learn from our past, we adapt to our present, and we never, ever surrender." Kurok's laughter echoed through the chamber, a harsh, guttural sound that sent shivers down the spines of many present. "Touching sentiments, Ambassador," he sneered, "but they won't change the facts. Your forces are outnumbered, outgunned, and outmatched in every conceivable way." He turned to the Council, his voice dripping with condescension. "I urge you, esteemed councilors, not to be swayed by emotional appeals. The Terran Alliance is a fledgling power, barely out of its cradle. They pose no real threat to the stability of the galaxy. Allow the Zylt Empire to bring order to Epsilon Eridani, and you will see prosperity and peace flourish." The insectoid ambassador, Zartok, shifted in his seat, his antennae twitching with unease. "Commander Kurok," he began, his voice a gentle buzz, "while we acknowledge the Zylt Empire's strength, we cannot ignore the Terran Alliance's potential. They have proven themselves resourceful and resilient, and their presence in the galaxy should not be underestimated." Ambassador Alara, her telepathic abilities allowing her to sense the underlying emotions in the room, added her voice to the conversation. "Indeed, Commander, the Terrans possess a unique tenacity and spirit that cannot be quantified by mere numbers or technology. It is a factor that must be taken into consideration." Kurok's lip curled in disdain. "Tenacity? Spirit? These are intangible concepts, mere illusions that cannot withstand the harsh realities of war. The Zylt Empire deals in facts, not fantasies." Novikov, sensing a shift in the council's mood, seized the opportunity. "Commander Kurak," she said, her voice firm but respectful, "I understand your skepticism. However, I assure you that the Terran Alliance is not so easily dismissed. We have learned from our ancestors, who faced far greater threats than the Zylt Empire. We are prepared to defend our territory, and we will not back down in the face of aggression." She paused, letting her words hang in the air. "I propose a compromise," she continued. "Instead of engaging in a costly and destructive war, let us settle this dispute through a series of strategic simulations. These simulations will test the capabilities of both our forces, allowing the Council to make an informed decision based on objective data." Kurak, intrigued by the challenge and confident in his empire's superiority, leaned forward. "A simulation? Very well, Ambassador. We shall see how your human spirit fares against the might of the Zylt Empire." A tense silence settled over the chamber as the councilors exchanged glances. The fate of Epsilon Eridani, and perhaps the future of the Terran Alliance, now hinged on the outcome of a virtual battle, a battle that would test the mettle of humanity and challenge the Zylt Empire's arrogance. Aboard the Terran flagship Defiance, the mood was grim. Admiral Nikolai Sokolov, a seasoned veteran with a face etched by countless battles, watched the holographic transmission from the council chambers with a mixture of anger and steely resolve. His crew, a diverse group of men and women from all corners of Earth, mirrored his emotions. Captain Emily Chen, a rising star in the Terran Starfleet, slammed her fist on the armrest of her command chair. "Those arrogant lizards," she exclaimed, her voice laced with indignation. "They think they can just waltz in and take what's ours? We'll show them." Lieutenant Ava Ramirez, a skilled pilot with a reputation for daring maneuvers, nodded in agreement. "We may not have their fancy tech, Captain, but we've got something they don't: guts. And I'll be damned if we let them walk all over us." Sokolov raised a hand, silencing the murmurs of discontent. "I understand your anger, crew," he said, his voice calm but firm. "But let us not give in to rash emotions. We are facing a formidable foe, one that underestimates us at their peril, but we will not let their arrogance blind us to the reality of the situation." He turned to face the holographic image of Novikov, a flicker of pride in his eyes. "Ambassador Novikov is right," he continued. "Throughout our history, humanity has faced seemingly insurmountable odds, but we have always found a way to prevail. We are the descendants of those who fought at Thermopylae, who stormed the beaches of Normandy, who defied tyranny and oppression at every turn." Sokolov paused, his gaze sweeping across the faces of his crew. "We are the heirs to a legacy of courage, ingenuity, and resilience, and we will not let that legacy die here, in this distant corner of the galaxy. We will fight for our home, for our people, for our future, and we will win." His words echoed through the bridge, igniting a spark of hope in the hearts of his crew. The tension in the air transformed into a steely determination. They may be outnumbered and outgunned, but they were not outmatched. They were Terrans, and they would fight to the bitter end. As the Defiance turned towards the Epsilon Eridani system, Sokolov knew that the battle ahead would be a defining moment for humanity. He trusted in Novikov's diplomatic skills to buy them time, but ultimately the fate of their world rested on the shoulders of his crew. He prayed that they were up to the challenge. For if they failed, it would not only be the end of Epsilon Eridani, but a devastating blow to humanity's hopes of establishing a foothold in the galaxy. Back on Xantus Prime, Ambassador Novikov stood before an ornate mirror, adjusting the collar of her uniform. The reflection staring back at her was one of composure, but beneath the surface, a maelstrom of emotions churned. She had just made a bold gamble, proposing the strategic simulations to the Council, and the weight of humanity's future rested heavily on her shoulders. A soft chime announced the arrival of Ambassador Alara, her ethereal form shimmering as she entered the room. "Ambassador Novikov," she greeted, her voice a melodic symphony of thoughts. "I sense a great burden upon your heart." Novikov offered a wry smile. "The burden of an entire species, Ambassador. It is a heavy weight to bear." Ilara extended a delicate, three-fingered hand and gently touched Novikov's shoulder. A wave of calming energy washed over her, easing the tension in her muscles. "Your people possess a remarkable resilience," Ilara said. "I have witnessed it in the eyes of your soldiers, in the determination of your scientists, in the unwavering spirit of your leaders. Do not underestimate the strength of your collective will." Novikov closed her eyes, drawing strength from Ilara's words. When she opened them, her resolve had hardened. "Thank you, Ambassador. Your words are a beacon of hope in a sea of uncertainty." A sudden urgency filled Ilara's voice. "The simulations are about to begin. The Council is eager to witness this clash of strategies. Remember, Ambassador, the fate of your people may depend on the outcome." Novikov nodded, her eyes gleaming with determination. "I understand, and I am ready." Together, the two ambassadors made their way back to the council chamber. The air crackled with anticipation as representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered to witness the virtual clash between the Terran Alliance and the Zylt Empire. The simulation, projected onto a massive holo display, would test the limits of both military doctrine and technological prowess. But more importantly, it would reveal the true nature of the human spirit, a force that could not be measured in kilotons or parsecs. As the countdown to the simulation began, Novikov took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. The future of humanity rested on this moment. She had faith in her people, in their ingenuity and adaptability. But she also knew that victory was far from guaranteed. The Zylt Empire was a formidable foe, and the stakes were higher than ever before. The holo display flickered to life, painting a vivid tableau of the Epsilon Eridani system. Stars shimmered, asteroids tumbled, and two fleets materialized, facing each other across the vast expanse of space. On one side, the Zylt Armada, a gleaming armada of sleek warships bristling with energy cannons and pulse arrays. On the other, the Terran fleet, smaller in number, but no less imposing, their vessels clad in ablative armor and bristling with railguns and missile launchers. Commander Kurak, his reptilian features contorted in a triumphant grin, leaned forward in his seat. "Witness, honorable counselors," he proclaimed, "the inevitable outcome of this conflict. The Zylt Empire's superior technology and tactical prowess will crush the Terran resistance like an insect underfoot." The simulation began. Zylt frigates darted forward, their energy weapons unleashing a blinding barrage upon the Terran lines. Explosions erupted, shields flickered, and ships crumpled under the relentless onslaught. The Terrans, seemingly overwhelmed, began to retreat towards the asteroid belt. Zartok, the insectoid ambassador, tilted his head in concern. "It appears the Terrans are already faltering," he murmured to Ilara. Ilara, her eyes closed in concentration, remained silent for a moment. "Their emotions are a mixture of fear and determination," she finally replied. "They are not giving up. They are adapting." On the holo display, the Terran ships dove into the asteroid belt, utilizing the rocky terrain for cover. Zylt fighters, confident in their superior agility, pursued them relentlessly. But the asteroids, seemingly chaotic and random, held a deadly secret. Hidden within the shadows of the rocks were Terran mining drones, their hulls bristling with salvaged Zylt weaponry. As the Zylt fighters entered their range, the drones opened fire, their concentrated blasts tearing through shields and hulls. Meanwhile, Terran cruisers and destroyers emerged from behind larger asteroids, their railguns and missiles finding their mark with devastating accuracy. The Zylt fleet, caught between the hidden drone ambushes and the concentrated fire from the Terran capital ships, began to suffer heavy casualties. Kurak's confident smirk wavered as he watched the simulation unfold. This is not possible," he muttered, his voice laced with disbelief. "Their tactics are chaotic, unpredictable." Novikov, a hint of a smile playing on her lips, leaned forward. "Commander Kurak," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "you are witnessing the human element at work. We are not bound by rigid doctrine or predictable patterns. We adapt, we improvise, we fight with every fiber of our being, and we never give up." The simulation continued, the tide of battle slowly turning in favor of the Terrans. Zylt ships, once gleaming symbols of power, were now reduced to burning wreckage. The counselors watched in stunned silence as the Terran fleet, against all odds, seemed to be gaining the upper hand. Admiral Sokolov watched the battle unfold with a mixture of pride and apprehension. The Terran fleet was holding its own, but the cost was high. Each flash of light on the holo display represented a lost ship, a sacrifice made in the name of humanity's survival. He turned to his communications officer. "Patch me through to Ambassador Novikov," he ordered. Moments later, Novikov's face appeared on the screen, her expression a mask of concern. "Admiral, the Council is impressed," she said, choosing her words carefully. "But they are also unsettled. The Zylt are losing badly, and there are whispers of treachery and foul play." Sokolov's jaw tightened. "We are fighting a defensive war, Ambassador. We have utilized the terrain to our advantage, but we have not broken any rules of engagement. The Zylt's arrogance blinded them to our capabilities. This is their own doing." Novikov nodded. "I understand, Admiral, but we must be mindful of the political ramifications. The Council is a delicate balance of power, and this display of Terran strength could upset that balance." "We cannot afford to appear weak, Ambassador," Sokolov countered. "If we back down now, we will be seen as easy prey. We must show the galaxy that humanity is a force to be reckoned with." Novikov sighed, her shoulders slumping slightly. "I know, Admiral, but please, try to minimize casualties. We need to secure a victory that will earn us respect, not fear." "Understood, Ambassador," Sokolov replied, his voice firm. "We will do what is necessary to secure our place in the galaxy." He turned back to the holo display, where the battle raged on. The Terran fleet, though battered and bruised, continued to press their advantage. Captain Chen's squadron had punched a hole in the Zylt formation, allowing a group of Terran bombers to slip through and target the enemy's vulnerable supply ships. Lieutenant Ramirez, having survived her daring attack on the Zylt flagship, was now engaged in a desperate dogfight with a swarm of enemy fighters. Her nimble craft weaved through the asteroid field, dodging laser fire and unleashing a barrage of missiles. On the bridge of the Defiance, the crew watched with bated breath as Ramirez's ship danced through the chaos. "Come on, Ava," Chen whispered, her hands clenched into fists. "Show them what you're made of." Ramirez, her face set in a mask of grim determination, locked onto a Zylt fighter and squeezed the trigger. A volley of missiles streaked through the void, finding their mark with deadly accuracy. The enemy ship exploded in a fiery inferno, its debris scattering among the asteroids. A cheer erupted on the bridge of the Defiance. Ramirez had scored another kill, further solidifying the Terrans' dominance in the battle. But the fight was far from over. The Zylt Empire, wounded but not defeated, was regrouping for a final, desperate counterattack. The Zylt counterattack was a desperate gamble, a last-ditch effort to salvage their pride and turn the tide of the battle. Kirak, his scales paling with rage and humiliation, ordered his remaining ships to converge on the Terran flagship, the Defiance. "Focus all fire on their command ship," he snarled. "If we can take out their leader, their resistance will crumble." The Zylt cruisers and destroyers, their numbers dwindling, but their firepower still formidable, surged forward, their energy weapons blazing. The Defiance, battered but defiant, met the onslaught with a hail of railgun fire and a swarm of defensive drones. On the bridge, Sokolov stood tall, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Brace for impact," he shouted as the Zylt weapons found their mark, sending shockwaves through the ship. The lights flickered, consoles sparked, and crew members were thrown to the deck. Despite the chaos, the crew of the Defiance fought back with grim determination. Engineers worked frantically to repair damaged systems, gunners fired their weapons with pinpoint accuracy, and pilots scrambled to intercept incoming missiles. In the heart of the asteroid field, Captain Chen's squadron engaged the enemy cruisers in a deadly dance of fire and maneuver. Her flagship, the destroyer Valkyrie, took the brunt of the Zylt assault, its shields flickering and failing under the relentless barrage. "Hold the line," Chen shouted, her voice hoarse with strain. "We cannot let them reach the Defiance." Her pilots responded with a ferocious display of skill and courage. They launched a series of daring attacks, targeting the Zylt cruiser's vulnerable points and distracting their fire. One by one, the enemy ships succumbed to the Terran onslaught, their wreckage adding to the growing debris field. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Ramirez, having miraculously survived the destruction of her fighter, found herself adrift in the asteroid field. But her fighting spirit remained undimmed. She activated her emergency beacon, hoping to be picked up by a friendly ship. As she waited, she noticed a damaged Zylt escape pod drifting nearby. A risky idea formed in her mind. With a determined glint in her eyes, she jettisoned from her own pod and propelled herself towards the Zylt vessel. Ramirez, with the agility and determination that had earned her a reputation as one of the best pilots in the Terran Starfleet, maneuvered her suit towards the escape pod. She carefully attached herself to its exterior, her helmet's visor displaying a schematic of the pod's internal systems. With a few deft taps on her suit's control panel, Ramirez hacked into the pod's communication system. A moment later, the face of a Zylt officer filled her helmet's display. He looked disheveled and panicked, his scales a sickly shade of green. "This is Lieutenant Ava Ramirez of the Terran Starfleet," Ramirez announced, her voice echoing through the pod speakers. "Your ship is destroyed. Surrender, and you will be treated with respect and dignity." The Zylt officer stared at her in disbelief, his eyes widening in fear. "A Terran? Impossible. You are supposed to be dead." Ramirez smirked. "We Terrans are a resilient bunch. Now, I suggest you surrender before I decide to vent your pod's atmosphere." The officer hesitated, his pride warring with his survival instinct. But ultimately, the fear of a slow, agonizing death in the vacuum of space won out. "I surrender," he croaked, his voice barely a whisper. Ramirez, her heart pounding with adrenaline, carefully guided the escape pod towards the nearest Terran vessel. The crew of the frigate Intrepid watched in awe as she brought in the unexpected prize. News of Ramirez's daring capture spread quickly throughout the Terran fleet, boosting morale and reinforcing the belief that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a single individual could make a difference. Meanwhile, aboard the Defiance, the situation remained critical. The Zylt flagship, though heavily damaged, was still operational, and its remaining weapons posed a significant threat. Sokolov, his face grim, ordered a final, all-out assault. The Terran fleet, their ranks thinned, but their spirit unbroken, charged forward, their weapons blazing. The Zylt flagship, surrounded by a cloud of debris and enemy fighters, fought back with the ferocity of a cornered beast, but it was a losing battle. The Terran ships, fueled by a mixture of vengeance and desperation, unleashed a torrent of firepower that overwhelmed the Zylt defenses. With a final, agonizing groan, the Zylt flagship succumbed to its wounds, its hull rupturing and its power core erupting in a catastrophic explosion. The shockwave rippled through the asteroid field, scattering debris and sending tremors through the surviving Terran vessels. The battle for Epsilon Eridani was over. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber was deafening. The holo display, once filled with the chaotic spectacle of battle, now showed a stark image: the wreckage of the Zylt fleet scattered amidst the asteroids, a testament to the Terran Alliance's stunning victory. Ambassador Novikov stood tall, her eyes scanning the faces of the assembled dignitaries. A mix of emotions swirled in the chamber's: shock, disbelief, grudging respect, and, in the case of Kurok, barely concealed rage. Zartok, the insectoid ambassador, was the first to break the silence. "It appears," he said slowly, his antennae twitching with a mix of surprise and admiration, "that we have underestimated the Terran Alliance." Ambassador Alarn nodded, her telepathic senses picking up the conflicting emotions of the counselors. "Their resilience and tactical ingenuity are indeed remarkable," she said. "They have proven themselves worthy adversaries, and perhaps even valuable allies." Bortak, the grizzled veteran, let out a low whistle. Never seen anything like it, he admitted. Those Terrans are scrappy bastards. They fought like cornered wolves, with nothing to lose but their pride. Kurok, his face a mask of fury, slammed his fist on the table. This is an outrage, he roared, his voice echoing through the chamber. The Terrans used underhanded tactics, ambushes, and technological trickery. This victory is a mockery of true military honor. Novikov met his gaze with a calm, unwavering stare. Commander Kurok, she said, her voice laced with ice, you accuse us of dishonorable conduct? Your empire launched an unprovoked attack on our territory, confident in your overwhelming superiority. We simply defended our home, utilizing every advantage at our disposal. That is the essence of warfare, is it not? Kurok sputtered, unable to form a coherent response. The other counselors exchanged uneasy glances, sensing the shifting tides of power. Zartok, ever the diplomat, stepped forward. Commander Kurok, he said, his voice a soothing buzz. Perhaps it is time to acknowledge the reality of the situation. The Terran Alliance has proven its strength. It would be wise to seek a peaceful resolution to this conflict. Ilara, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light, added her voice to the chorus. The Terrans have shown us that they are not to be underestimated. They possess a spirit that cannot be quantified, a determination that defies all odds. They are a valuable addition to the galactic community. Kurok, isolated and outnumbered, could only seethe in silence. The council, once swayed by his bluster and promises of easy victory, was now firmly on the side of the Terrans. The laughter that had once filled the chamber was now replaced by a newfound respect for the underdog humans who had dared to defy the might of the Zylt Empire. The news of the Terran victory at Epsilon Eridani sent shockwaves across the galaxy. Holofeeds and subspace transmissions carried images of burning Zylt warships and the jubilant faces of Terran pilots and soldiers. The once dismissed humans were now hailed as heroes, their underdog triumph capturing the imagination of countless worlds. On Earth, celebrations erupted in the streets. Crowds cheered, flags waved, and the names of fallen heroes were etched into the annals of history. For the first time, humanity felt a sense of belonging in the vast cosmic tapestry, a sense of pride in their hard-won place among the stars. In the halls of power, the mood was more subdued, but no less jubilant. President Elena Martinez, a seasoned politician with a steely gaze and a compassionate heart, addressed the Terran assembly, her voice echoing through the chamber. "My fellow Terrans," she began, "today, we have achieved a momentous victory. We have faced a formidable foe, one that sought to crush our spirit and deny us our rightful place in the galaxy. But we have prevailed through courage, ingenuity, and the unwavering belief in our own strength." She paused, her eyes scanning the faces of the assembled representatives. "Let us not forget those who made the ultimate sacrifice," she continued, her voice thick with emotion. "Their names will be etched in our hearts forever, a reminder of the price of freedom and the indomitable spirit of humanity." Martinez's words resonated with the assembly members, who rose to their feet in a thunderous ovation. The victory at Epsilon Eridani was not just a military triumph. It was a turning point in human history, a moment that would forever shape the destiny of the Terran Alliance. In the aftermath of the battle, the Zylt Empire was forced to accept a humiliating peace treaty. They relinquished their claims to Epsilon Eridani and agreed to pay reparations for the damage inflicted on Terran territory. Kurok, stripped of his command and disgraced, disappeared into the shadows, his arrogance replaced by bitterness and resentment. The Terran Alliance, on the other hand, emerged from the conflict stronger and more united than ever before. The victory had solidified their position in the galaxy, earning them the respect of both allies and rivals. The human spirit, once mocked and underestimated, was now recognized as a force to be reckoned with. But the war had also taken its toll. Many brave souls had perished in the defense of their home, leaving behind grieving families and shattered dreams. The scars of conflict would take time to heal, but the Terrans knew that they had paid a heavy price for their victory. As the galaxy adjusted to this new reality, a new chapter in human history began. The Terran Alliance, once a fledgling power, was now a rising star, its potential for greatness yet to be fully realized. The path ahead was fraught with challenges and uncertainties, but the Terrans, hardened by their experiences, were ready to face them head-on. The age of humanity had arrived. Aboard the Defiance, the celebrations were muted. While the victory was undeniable, the cost weighed heavily on the hearts of the crew. The medbay was filled with the wounded, some bearing scars that would never fully heal. The faces of the fallen were etched into the minds of their comrades, a solemn reminder of the sacrifices made in the name of humanity's future. Admiral Sokolov, his uniform stained with soot and his eyes bloodshot from exhaustion, stood on the bridge, staring out at the vast expanse of space. The silence was broken only by the hum of the ship's systems and the occasional sob of a grieving crew member. "We have won a great victory," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "But at a terrible cost." Captain Chen, her face pale and drawn, nodded in agreement. "We lost good people out there, Admiral. Good people who deserve to come home." Sokolov placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "I know, Captain. Their sacrifice will not be forgotten. They died heroes, defending our home, our people, our future." He turned to face the rest of the crew, his voice gaining strength. "We mourn our fallen comrades, but we also celebrate their courage and their dedication. They gave their lives so that we could live, so that humanity could thrive in this new galaxy. We owe it to them to honor their memory by building a better future, a future where peace and prosperity reign." His words resonated with the crew, their spirits lifting slightly. They had suffered a great loss, but they had also achieved a great victory. The Terran Alliance had proven itself to be a force to be reckoned with, a power that could not be easily dismissed or underestimated. As the Defiance limped back towards Terran space, Sokolov knew that the war was far from over. The Zylt Empire, though defeated, would not remain idle. They would lick their wounds, regroup, and return with a vengeance. The Terrans would have to be prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. But for now, they would mourn their fallen, celebrate their victory, and prepare for the next chapter in humanity's galactic journey. A journey that had begun with a desperate struggle for survival, but would ultimately lead them to a destiny beyond their wildest dreams. On Xantus Prime, the political fallout of the Epsilon Eridani conflict was just beginning. The Zylt Empire, once a dominant force in the Galactic Council, now found itself isolated and weakened. Their reputation for military invincibility had been shattered, and their political influence was waning. Commander Kurok, disgraced and stripped of his rank, was recalled to the Zylt homeworld to face the wrath of his superiors. His arrogance and underestimation of the Terrans had cost the Empire dearly, and he would pay the price for his failures. The other council members, though initially shocked by the Terran victory, quickly adapted to the new reality. The balance of power had shifted, and they had to reassess their alliances and strategies. Ambassador Ilara, intrigued by the Terrans' unexpected triumph, sought out Ambassador Novikov for a private conversation. "Your people have surprised us all, Ambassador," she said, her voice filled with genuine curiosity. "What is the source of this resilience, this unwavering spirit that allowed you to overcome such overwhelming odds?" Novikov, still weary from the diplomatic battles she had fought, offered a tired smile. "It is not a single source, Ambassador," she replied. "It is a combination of factors, our history, our culture, our values. We have learned from our mistakes, adapted to our challenges, and never lost sight of our humanity." Ilara nodded, her eyes glowing with understanding. "I sense a deep connection to your past, a reverence for your ancestors," she observed. "It is a strength that many races have lost." Novikov agreed. "We believe that our past shapes our present, that the sacrifices of our forebears pave the way for our future. We honor their memory by striving to be the best version of ourselves, by never giving up, no matter the odds." Ilara reached out and gently touched Novikov's hand. "Your spirit is a beacon of hope in a galaxy often consumed by conflict and darkness," she said. "May it continue to shine brightly." Novikov, moved by Ilara's words, returned the gesture. Thank you, Ambassador. Your understanding and support mean a great deal to me and to my people. As the two ambassadors parted ways, a newfound respect and understanding blossomed between them. The Terran Alliance had not only won a military victory, but also a diplomatic one. They had proven themselves worthy of a seat at the galactic table, their voice now carrying weight and influence. The future remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: the Terrans were here to stay, and their impact on the galaxy was only just beginning. The Epsilon Eridani system, once a silent expanse dotted with asteroids and distant stars, now buzzed with activity. Terran salvage crews worked tirelessly to reclaim valuable resources from the wreckage of the Zylt fleet, while engineers and scientists analyzed captured technology, hoping to glean insights into their former enemies' advanced systems. Meanwhile, aboard the Defiance, the wounded were receiving the best medical care the Terran Alliance could offer. Medics worked around the clock, tending to injuries ranging from minor burns to severe trauma. The ship's chapel, a non-denominational space for reflection and prayer, was filled with the whispers of mourning and the flickering light of memorial candles. Admiral Sokolov, his injuries minor but his spirit heavy, visited the chapel often. He found solace in the quiet solitude, offering silent prayers for the fallen and seeking guidance for the challenges that lay ahead. One evening, as he knelt before the flickering candles, he heard a soft voice behind him. "Admiral?" Sokolov turned to see Lieutenant Ramirez, her arm in a sling and her face pale but determined. "Lieutenant," he greeted, his voice tinged with surprise. "I heard you were recovering well." Ramirez offered a weak smile. "Thanks to our amazing medical team, I'll be back in the cockpit before you know it." She hesitated for a moment, then continued, her voice barely a whisper. I came to say thank you." Sokolov raised an eyebrow. "Thank me? For what, Lieutenant?" "For believing in us," Ramirez replied, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "For trusting us to do our jobs, even when the odds were stacked against us. You never doubted us, Admiral, even when we doubted ourselves." Sokolov was touched by her words. He had always believed in the potential of his crew, but it was their courage and sacrifice that had truly won the day. "The credit belongs to you and your comrades, Lieutenant," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "You fought with the heart of lions and the cunning of foxes. You are the true heroes of Epsilon Eridani." Ramirez shook her head. "We were just doing our duty, Admiral. It was you who gave us the opportunity to prove our worth." Sokolov smiled, a genuine warmth radiating from his eyes. "We are a team, Lieutenant," he said, "and together we will face whatever the future holds." He extended his hand, and Ramirez took it, her grip surprisingly strong despite her injuries. The two stood in silence for a moment, a shared understanding passing between them. The war had brought them together, forged a bond of trust and respect that would last a lifetime. News of the Terran victory reached the farthest corners of the Zylt Empire, igniting a firestorm of debate and dissent. The once unquestioned authority of the ruling council was now under scrutiny, as citizens questioned the wisdom of their leaders and the military strategies that had led to such a humiliating defeat. On the Zylt homeworld, a sprawling metropolis of towering spires and pulsating energy fields, a group of high-ranking military officers gathered in a secret chamber. They were the Disavowed, a faction that had long questioned Kurok's aggressive expansionist policies and his reliance on technological superiority over tactical adaptability. Their leader, General Zalter, a grizzled veteran with a cybernetic eye and a reputation for ruthlessness, addressed the group. "The Terran victory has exposed the rot at the heart of our empire," he growled, his voice echoing through the dimly lit chamber. "Kurok's arrogance and his blind faith in technology have brought us to the brink of ruin." A murmur of agreement rippled through the gathered officers. They had witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of Kurok's flawed strategies, the countless lives lost in a futile war of aggression. "We cannot allow this to continue," Zalter continued. "We must seize this opportunity to reform our empire, to rid ourselves of the corruption and complacency that have weakened us. We must learn from our mistakes and adapt to this new reality, or we will be swept away by the tides of history. The disavowed, united by their shared disillusionment and their desire for change, began to formulate a plan. They would use the Terran victory as a catalyst for revolution, exposing the flaws in the ruling council's leadership and pushing for reforms that would strengthen the Zylt Empire from within. Their first target was Kurok. They would use their network of spies and informants to gather evidence of his incompetence and corruption. Painting him as the scapegoat for the Empire's recent failures, they would then use this evidence to turn public opinion against him, forcing the Council to remove him from power. The disavowed knew that their path was fraught with danger. The ruling Council would not relinquish its power easily, and they would face fierce opposition from Kurok's loyalists. But they were determined to succeed, for the sake of their empire and their people. The Terrans had shown them that even the mightiest empires could fall, and they would not allow the Zylt Empire to suffer the same fate. Back on Earth, the Terran Alliance was grappling with the complexities of its newfound status. The victory at Epsilon Eridani had catapulted them into the galactic spotlight, attracting both admiration and envy. Diplomatic missions from various races flooded into Terran space, seeking alliances, trade agreements, or simply a closer look at the enigmatic humans who had defied the odds. Ambassador Novikov, hailed as a hero for her role in the conflict, found herself at the center of a whirlwind of negotiations and diplomatic maneuvering. She met with representatives from powerful empires, ancient federations, and fledgling alliances, each with their own agendas and motivations. One such meeting took place in the Grand Hall of the Terran Presidential Palace, a magnificent structure that blended modern architecture with elements of Earth's diverse cultural heritage. Novikov sat across a polished mahogany table from Ambassador Tilar, a representative of the Vulcanoid Confederacy, a highly advanced civilization known for their logic and stoicism. Tilar, a tall, slender being with pointed ears and a serene expression, regarded Novikov with a thoughtful gaze. "Your victory at Epsilon Eridani was a remarkable feat, Ambassador," he said, his voice calm and measured. "It has demonstrated that the Terran Alliance is a power to be reckoned with." Novikov nodded, acknowledging the compliment. "We are grateful for your kind words, Ambassador. However, we are also aware that our victory has made us a target for those who seek to exploit our newfound strength." Tilar's eyebrows rose slightly. "Indeed. The galaxy is a complex web of alliances and rivalries. Your actions have disrupted the established order, and many will seek to exploit the resulting instability." He paused, his fingers steepled in front of him. "The Vulcanoid Confederacy proposes an alliance with the Terran Alliance," he continued. "We believe that our two civilizations, though vastly different, share a common goal: the pursuit of knowledge and the preservation of peace." Novikov considered his offer carefully. The Vulcanoids were renowned for their advanced technology and their vast knowledge of the galaxy. An alliance with them would undoubtedly benefit the Terran Alliance, but it would also come with its own set of challenges and obligations. "Your proposal is intriguing, Ambassador," Novikov replied. "The Terran Alliance is always open to forming mutually beneficial partnerships. However, we must proceed with caution. We are a young civilization, still finding our footing in this vast universe. We must carefully consider the implications of any alliance we form." Tilar nodded in understanding. "Of course, Ambassador, we respect your prudence. The Vulcanoid Confederacy is patient. We are willing to wait for your decision." The two ambassadors continued their discussion, exploring the potential benefits and drawbacks of an alliance. Novikov, ever the shrewd negotiator, carefully weighed her options, knowing that the fate of the Terran Alliance might hinge on the choices she made in this moment. As diplomatic negotiations unfolded on Xantus Prime, the Terran Alliance faced a new challenge: integrating the captured Zylt technology into their own systems. A team of brilliant scientists and engineers, led by Dr. Elizabeth Lawson, a renowned expert in xenotechnology, had been assembled to unravel the secrets of the alien devices. The captured Zylt cruiser, now christened the Invictus, was a treasure trove of advanced technology. Its energy shields, weapon systems, and propulsion technology were far superior to anything the Terrans had encountered before. Dr. Lawson and her team worked tirelessly, dissecting the ship's systems and analyzing its data banks. In the ship's engine room, a labyrinth of glowing conduits and humming machinery, Dr. Lawson stood before a massive, pulsating power core. It was a marvel of engineering, capable of generating energy levels that dwarfed the Terrans' most advanced reactors. "Incredible," she murmured, her eyes wide with wonder. "The Zylt have achieved a level of energy efficiency that we could only dream of." Her assistant, a young engineer named Samuel Lee, nodded in agreement. "It's like they've unlocked the secrets of the universe," he said, his voice filled with awe. "Dr. Lawson chuckled. "Not quite, Samuel. But they have certainly made significant strides in energy manipulation. If we can replicate this technology, it could revolutionize our own." The team's progress was slow but steady. They meticulously documented every circuit, every component, every line of code, gradually piecing together the complex puzzle of Zylt technology. They encountered numerous setbacks and challenges, but their determination never wavered. One day, as Dr. Lawson was studying a schematic of the Zylt energy shield, she noticed a curious anomaly. The shield's energy signature fluctuated in a pattern that seemed familiar, almost organic. "Samuel," she called out, her voice filled with excitement. "Come look at this." Samuel hurried over, his eyes scanning the schematic. "What is it, Dr. Lawson?" "This energy pattern," she said, pointing at the screen. "It's not entirely artificial. There's a biological component to it." Samuel's eyes widened. "You mean the Zylt are using living organisms to power their shields?" Dr. Lawson nodded. "It's a symbiotic relationship. The Zylt provide the technology, and the organisms provide the energy. It's a brilliant adaptation, one that could potentially revolutionize our own energy systems." The discovery was a breakthrough, a key to unlocking the secrets of Zylt technology. It also opened up a whole new realm of possibilities for the Terran Alliance, one that could lead to a future of unprecedented power and prosperity. While the Terran Alliance grappled with the intricacies of Zylt technology, a wave of change was sweeping through the Zylt Empire itself. The defeat at Epsilon Eridani had shattered the illusion of invincibility that had long surrounded the ruling council. Public discontent grew, fueled by the disavowed's propaganda and the whispers of discontent that echoed through the corridors of power. General Zalter, the leader of the disavowed, watched the unfolding chaos with a grim satisfaction. His agents had infiltrated the highest levels of government, spreading rumors and sowing discord. They had painted Kurok as a reckless warmonger, a leader whose arrogance had led to the deaths of countless Zylt warriors. The public outcry reached a fever pitch when a leaked holo recording surfaced, showing Kurok berating his officers and dismissing the Terrans as insignificant pests. The recording went viral, further eroding public trust in the ruling council and emboldening the disavowed's cause. In a clandestine meeting in the heart of the Zylt capital, Zalter addressed his fellow conspirators. "The time has come," he declared, his voice ringing with authority. "The people are ready for change. We must seize this opportunity to restore the honor and glory of the Zylt Empire." The disavowed, a coalition of military officers, scientists, and influential civilians, had meticulously planned their coup. They had secured the loyalty of key military units, infiltrated communication networks, and rallied support from disaffected citizens. Their plan was simple but audacious. They would launch a coordinated uprising, seizing control of key government buildings and communication centers. They would then broadcast a message to the Zylt people, exposing the council's corruption and incompetence and announcing the formation of a new government, one that would prioritize stability, peace, and the restoration of Zylt honor. The coup was set in motion. In the dead of night, disavowed forces moved into position, their movements cloaked by advanced stealth technology. The ruling council, oblivious to the impending threat, continued their bickering and infighting, their attention focused on preserving their own power rather than addressing the Empire's growing problems. As the first rays of dawn broke over the Zylt capital, the disavowed struck. Their forces swiftly overwhelmed the unprepared guards, seizing control of the council chambers, the military command center, and the main communication hub. A pre-recorded message from Zalter was broadcast across the Empire, its chilling words echoing in every Zylt home and starship. "Citizens of the Zylt Empire," he declared, "the time for change has come. The old order has failed us, leading us to defeat and humiliation. We, the disavowed, pledge to restore our empire to its former glory. We will bring stability, peace, and prosperity to our people. Join us in this noble endeavor, and together, we will forge a new future for the Zylt Empire." The coup was swift and bloodless. The ruling council was arrested and stripped of its power, their legacy tarnished by their own hubris and incompetence. A new era had begun for the Zylt Empire, an era of uncertainty but also of hope. In the wake of the Zylt coup, General Zalter emerged as the new leader of the empire. His message of reform resonated with the populace, weary of war and eager for stability. Zalter quickly consolidated his power, dismantling Kurok's loyalist factions and establishing a new government that promised transparency, accountability, and a more pragmatic approach to interstellar relations. One of his first acts as Supreme Commander was to reach out to Ambassador Novikov, extending an olive branch to the Terran Alliance. In a carefully worded subspace transmission, he acknowledged the mistakes of the past and expressed a desire for peaceful coexistence. Novikov received the message with cautious optimism. She knew that the Zylt Empire was still a formidable power, and their motives remained unclear. But she also recognized the opportunity for a new beginning, a chance to forge a lasting peace between their two civilizations. After careful deliberation with President Martinez and the Terran Council, Novikov decided to accept Zalter's invitation for a diplomatic summit on neutral ground. The meeting would take place on the space station Olympus, a hub of interstellar commerce and diplomacy located in the heart of the Orion Spur. The summit was a tense affair. Both sides approached the negotiations with a mixture of hope and skepticism. Zalter, keen to repair his empire's damaged reputation, presented himself as a reformer, eager to forge a new path for the Zylt people. Novikov, wary of Zylt intentions, remained cautious but open to the possibility of a peaceful resolution. The negotiations were long and arduous, filled with posturing, veiled threats, and subtle diplomatic maneuvering. But gradually, a sense of understanding and even mutual respect began to emerge between the two delegations. Zalter, impressed by Novikov's sharp intellect and unwavering resolve, found himself questioning his preconceived notions about humans. He had always viewed them as a primitive, emotional species, but Novikov challenged his assumptions at every turn. Novikov, in turn, was surprised by Zalter's pragmatism and his willingness to acknowledge the Zylt Empire's past mistakes. She saw in him a potential partner, a leader who could guide his people towards a brighter future. After weeks of intense negotiations, the two sides finally reached an agreement. The Epsilon Eridani system would remain under Terran control, but the Zylt Empire would be granted access to its resources under strict regulations. A joint task force would be established to monitor the region and prevent future conflicts. The Olympus Accords, as the agreement was known, marked a turning point in interstellar relations. It was a testament to the power of diplomacy, a symbol of hope in a galaxy often torn apart by war and strife. But it was also a fragile peace, one that would require constant vigilance and a willingness to compromise. The signing of the Olympus Accords was met with mixed reactions across the galaxy. Some hailed it as a triumph of diplomacy, a testament to the power of reason over conflict. Others viewed it with suspicion, fearing that it was merely a temporary truce, a lull before the storm. On Earth, the news was greeted with cautious optimism. The Terran Alliance had achieved a major diplomatic victory, securing its position in the galaxy and avoiding further bloodshed. But the war had left deep scars, both physical and emotional. Admiral Sokolov, now hailed as a hero, returned to Earth to a hero's welcome. Crowds lined the streets, cheering and waving flags as his motorcade passed by. He was showered with medals and accolades, his name etched into the history books alongside the great military leaders of the past. But the celebrations were bittersweet. Sokolov, haunted by the faces of the fallen, found it difficult to enjoy the adulation. He knew that the war had taken a heavy toll on his crew, and he vowed to do everything in his power to ensure that their sacrifices were not in vain. He threw himself into the task of rebuilding the Terran Starfleet, overseeing the construction of new warships and the recruitment of fresh pilots and soldiers. He also worked tirelessly to improve relations with other races, forging alliances and trade agreements that would strengthen the Terran Alliance's position in the galaxy. Meanwhile, Dr. Lawson and her team continued their research into Zylt technology. The insights gleaned from the Invictus had opened up new avenues of exploration, leading to breakthroughs in energy generation, propulsion, and weapon systems. The Terrans were quickly catching up to the more advanced races of the galaxy, their technological prowess growing with each passing day. The Zylt Empire, under Zalter's leadership, embarked on a path of reform and reconciliation. The disavowed, their goals achieved, disbanded, their members returning to their respective positions within the military and government. Zalter, keen to maintain stability and avoid further conflict, initiated a series of cultural exchange programs with the Terran Alliance, hoping to foster understanding and cooperation between their two civilizations. The first exchange program involved a group of Terran scientists and engineers visiting the Zylt homeworld. They were greeted with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion, but they soon won over their hosts with their knowledge, enthusiasm, and willingness to learn. The Zylt scientists, in turn, were impressed by the Terrans' ingenuity and their ability to adapt to new situations. They shared their own knowledge and expertise, leading to fruitful collaborations and the development of new technologies that benefited both civilizations. As the two races interacted and learned from each other, the seeds of a lasting peace were sown. The Terrans and the Zylt, once bitter enemies, were now taking the first tentative steps towards a future of cooperation and mutual respect. The cultural exchange program was not without its challenges. The Terrans, accustomed to a diverse range of cultures and beliefs, found the Zylt's rigid social hierarchy and emphasis on conformity stifling. The Zylt, in turn, were baffled by the Terrans' emotional outbursts, their penchant for humor, and their seemingly chaotic decision-making process. One particular incident nearly derailed the entire program. A Terran engineer, known for his boisterous personality and love of practical jokes, inadvertently offended a high-ranking Zylt official by making a light-hearted remark about the Zylt's scaly skin. The official, unaccustomed to such informality and perceived disrespect, demanded an apology and threatened to expel the entire Terran delegation. The situation was diffused thanks to the quick thinking of Ambassador Novikov and General Zalter, who both understood the importance of maintaining the fragile peace between their two civilizations. Novikov offered a sincere apology on behalf of the Terran Alliance, while Zalter explained the nuances of Zylt culture to the Terran engineer, emphasizing the importance of respect and decorum. The incident served as a valuable lesson for both sides. The Terrans learned to be more mindful of Zylt customs and sensitivities, while the Zylt came to appreciate the Terrans' directness and their willingness to speak their minds. Despite the occasional misunderstandings, the cultural exchange program proved to be a success. The Terrans and the Zylt discovered that they had more in common than they had previously thought. They shared a love of knowledge, a passion for exploration, and a deep respect for their respective histories and traditions. The program also led to unexpected friendships and collaborations. A Terran biologist and a Zylt geneticist, working together, discovered a new species of bacteria that could potentially revolutionize medicine. A Terran historian and a Zylt archivist, sharing their knowledge of ancient civilizations, unearthed a long-lost artifact that shed new light on the origins of life in the galaxy. As the exchange program drew to a close, both sides expressed a desire for continued cooperation. The Terrans, having gained a deeper understanding of the Zylt culture and society, were more confident in their ability to coexist peacefully with their former enemies. The Zylt, in turn, had come to respect the Terrans' resilience, ingenuity, and their unwavering commitment to their values. The seeds of peace had been sown, but the future remained uncertain. The galaxy was a vast and dangerous place, and the Terran Alliance still faced numerous challenges. But they now had a powerful ally in the Zylt Empire, a partner who could help them navigate the treacherous waters of interstellar politics and ensure a brighter future for both their civilizations. The signing of the Olympus Accords was met with mixed reactions across the galaxy. Some hailed it as a triumph of diplomacy, a testament to the power of reason over conflict. Others viewed it with suspicion, fearing that it was merely a temporary truce, a lull before the storm. On Earth, the news was greeted with cautious optimism. The Terran Alliance had achieved a major diplomatic victory, securing its position in the galaxy and avoiding further bloodshed. But the war had left deep scars, both physical and emotional. Admiral Sokolov, now hailed as a hero, returned to Earth to a hero's welcome. Crowds lined the streets, cheering and waving flags as his motorcade passed by. He was showered with medals and accolades, his name etched into the history books alongside the great military leaders of the past. But the celebrations were bittersweet. Sokolov, haunted by the faces of the fallen, found it difficult to enjoy the adulation. He knew that the war had taken a heavy toll on his crew, and he vowed to do everything in his power to ensure that their sacrifices were not in vain. He threw himself into the task of rebuilding the Terran Starfleet, overseeing the construction of new warships and the recruitment of fresh pilots and soldiers. He also worked tirelessly to improve relations with other races, forging alliances and trade agreements that would strengthen the Terran Alliance's position in the galaxy. Meanwhile, Dr. Lawson and her team continued their research into Zylt technology. The insights gleaned from the Invictus had opened up new avenues of exploration, leading to breakthroughs in energy generation, propulsion, and weapon systems. The Terrans were quickly catching up to the more advanced races of the galaxy, their technological prowess growing with each passing day. The Zylt Empire, under Zalter's leadership, embarked on a path of reform and reconciliation. The disavowed, their goals achieved, disbanded, their members returning to their respective positions within the military and government. Zalter, keen to maintain stability and avoid further conflict, initiated a series of cultural exchange programs with the Terran Alliance, hoping to foster understanding and cooperation between their two civilizations. The first exchange program involved a group of Terran scientists and engineers visiting the Zylt homeworld. They were greeted with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion, but they soon won over their hosts with their knowledge, enthusiasm, and willingness to learn. The Zylt scientists, in turn, were impressed by the Terrans' ingenuity and their ability to adapt to new situations. They shared their own knowledge and expertise, leading to fruitful collaborations and the development of new technologies that benefited both civilizations. As the two races interacted and learned from each other, the seeds of a lasting peace were sown. The Terrans and the Zylt, once bitter enemies, were now taking the first tentative steps towards a future of cooperation and mutual respect. 5 years after the Battle of Epsilon Eridani, the Terran Alliance had undergone a remarkable transformation. The influx of Zylt technology, combined with the ingenuity of Terran scientists, had propelled their civilization forward at an unprecedented pace. New cities rose from the ashes of war, gleaming with advanced infrastructure and powered by clean, efficient energy sources. The Terran Starfleet, once a ragtag collection of salvaged and repurposed vessels, was now a formidable force, boasting sleek warships equipped with cutting-edge weaponry and defensive systems. Terran pilots, trained in the latest tactics and piloting Zylt-inspired fighters, patrolled the borders of their territory, ensuring the safety of their people. But the most significant change was not in the realm of technology, but in the hearts and minds of the Terran people. The victory at Epsilon Eridani had instilled in them a newfound sense of confidence and purpose. They were no longer just survivors, they were pioneers, explorers, and builders of a new future. This spirit of innovation and progress was embodied in the Terran Academy, a sprawling complex of research labs, training facilities, and cultural centers. Here, the brightest minds of the Terran Alliance gathered to exchange ideas, push the boundaries of knowledge and prepare the next generation of leaders. Dr. Lawson, now the head of the Academy's Xenotechnology department, oversaw a team of young scientists who were eager to unravel the mysteries of the universe. They studied alien artifacts, dissected captured technology, and developed new theories that challenged the foundations of established science. One such theory, proposed by a brilliant young physicist named Dr. Anna Petrova, suggested that the fabric of spacetime was not a static entity, but a dynamic field that could be manipulated. This radical idea, initially met with skepticism, was soon confirmed by experimental data, opening up new possibilities for faster-than-light travel and communication. Petrova, a rising star in the Terran scientific community, became a symbol of the Alliance's intellectual prowess. Her discoveries not only advanced Terran technology, but also challenged the galactic community's perception of humanity as a mere upstart civilization. The Terrans' thirst for knowledge extended beyond the scientific realm. They embraced the cultural exchange program with the Zylt Empire, eager to learn from their former enemies. Terran students traveled to the Zylt homeworld to study their language, history, and philosophy, while Zylt scholars visited Earth to explore its rich cultural heritage. The exchange program was not without its challenges, but it ultimately proved to be a success. The Terrans and the Zylt, despite their differences, found common ground in their shared curiosity and their desire to understand the universe. As the years passed, the Terran Alliance continued to thrive, its influence growing steadily in the galactic community. They formed alliances with other races, established trade routes, and participated in scientific expeditions to distant corners of the galaxy. The humans, once underestimated and dismissed, had become a major player on the galactic stage, their future bright with promise. A decade after the Battle of Epsilon Eridani, the Terran Alliance stood as a testament to humanity's resilience and adaptability. Earth, once a war-torn planet struggling to find its place in the galaxy, had become a thriving hub of innovation, culture, and diplomacy. The scars of conflict had healed, replaced by sprawling cities, verdant parks, and gleaming monuments dedicated to the fallen heroes of the Epsilon Eridani War. The Terran Starfleet, now a powerful and respected force, patrolled the vast expanse of Terran-controlled space, ensuring the safety and prosperity of its member worlds. Their ships, a blend of Terran and Zylt technology, were marvels of engineering, capable of traversing the stars at incredible speeds and engaging in combat with even the most advanced alien fleets. But the Terrans' true strength lay not in their military might, but in their unwavering spirit and their unyielding belief in their own potential. The people of Earth had embraced their role as galactic citizens, eager to explore, learn, and contribute to the betterment of the cosmos. This spirit of exploration was embodied in the Terran Interstellar Expeditionary Force, a newly formed organization dedicated to venturing into the uncharted regions of the galaxy. Their mission was to seek out new life forms, establish diplomatic relations with alien civilizations, and uncover the secrets of the universe. The EF's flagship, the Odyssey, was a marvel of engineering, equipped with the latest scientific instruments, long-range scanners, and a crew of the brightest minds and bravest souls the Terran Alliance had to offer. Their first mission, a daring expedition to the Andromeda Galaxy, was met with both excitement and apprehension. The Andromeda Galaxy, a vast spiral galaxy located 25 million light-years from Earth, was a tantalizing mystery. Astronomers had long observed its swirling arms and luminous core, but little was known about the civilizations that might reside within its star-studded depths. The Odyssey, under the command of Captain Aaron Stone, a seasoned explorer with a thirst for knowledge and a reputation for pushing boundaries, set off on its historic journey. The crew, a diverse group of scientists, engineers, diplomats, and security personnel, buzzed with anticipation as they left Terran space behind and ventured into the unknown. The journey to Andromeda was long and arduous, fraught with unexpected challenges and dangers. The Odyssey encountered strange spatial anomalies, navigated treacherous nebulae, and even fended off an attack by a hostile alien fleet. But through it all, the crew remained focused on their mission, their determination fueled by the spirit of exploration that had propelled humanity to the stars. After months of travel, the Odyssey finally reached the outskirts of the Andromeda Galaxy. As the ship approached, its sensors detected a multitude of signals, indicating the presence of numerous technologically advanced civilizations. The Terrans had arrived in a new galaxy, a galaxy teeming with life and brimming with possibilities. Their journey was just beginning, and the discoveries they would make would forever change the course of human history. The Odyssey emerged from the swirling cosmic dust into the heart of a bustling star cluster on the outskirts of the Andromeda Galaxy. Thousands of stars glittered like diamonds scattered on black velvet, their light revealing a breathtaking panorama of planets, moons, and nebulae. Captain Stone stood on the bridge, his eyes wide with wonder as he took in the sight. "Welcome to Andromeda," he said, his voice filled with awe. The crew, equally mesmerized, set to work scanning the surrounding space. Sensors pinged and data streamed across screens, revealing a multitude of life-bearing worlds and the telltale signs of advanced civilizations. "Captain," the science officer, Dr. Emily Chen, announced, her voice tinged with excitement, "we're detecting multiple energy signatures consistent with interstellar travel. There are at least a dozen different species within a few light years of our position." Stone nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. "Let's start with a cautious approach. Hail any vessels in the vicinity and request permission to enter their space." The Odyssey sent out a standard first contact greeting, a message of peace and goodwill translated into dozens of languages. The response was swift and unexpected. A holographic image flickered to life on the bridge's main screen, revealing a majestic, avian creature with iridescent feathers and piercing golden eyes. "Greetings, travelers from afar," the creature said, its voice a melodious chime. "We are the Kestrel, a peaceful race dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and harmony. We welcome you to our star cluster and invite you to share your wisdom and experiences with us." The crew exchanged surprised glances. This was not the kind of reception they had expected. The Kestrel seemed genuinely friendly and eager to establish contact. Stone, ever the diplomat, responded in kind. "Thank you for your warm welcome, Kestrel. We are the Terran Alliance, a young but ambitious civilization from a distant galaxy. We come in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding." The Kestrel nodded, its feathers shimmering in the light. "We have heard tales of your courage and resilience," it said. "Your victory over the Zylt Empire is legendary throughout this region of space." A sense of pride swelled in the hearts of the Terran crew. Their reputation had preceded them, and they were eager to live up to it. "We would be honored to share our knowledge with you, Kestrel," Stone replied. "But first, we would like to learn more about your civilization and your place in the galaxy." The Kestrel smiled, its golden eyes twinkling. "We have much to teach each other, Terran. Come, let us begin this journey of discovery together." And so, the first contact between the Terran Alliance and the Kestrel marked the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's galactic journey. It was a chapter filled with promise, potential, and the hope of a brighter future for all. The Odyssey followed the Kestrel's guidance, traversing the star cluster and marveling at the diversity of worlds that lay before them. Each planet held its own unique beauty and mysteries, from lush jungle worlds teeming with exotic life forms to arid desert planets dotted with ancient ruins. The Kestrel, as their guides, proved to be gracious and knowledgeable hosts. They shared their vast knowledge of the Andromeda Galaxy, its history, its cultures, and its many wonders. They also spoke of the challenges facing their region of space, including the growing threat of a hostile empire known as the Vrax, a race of cybernetically enhanced warriors who sought to conquer and assimilate all who stood in their path. The Terrans listened intently, absorbing every detail and analyzing the potential implications for their own mission. They were eager to learn, but also cautious, aware that the Kestrel's seemingly benevolent nature could be a facade. After several weeks of exploration and cultural exchange, the Odyssey arrived at the Kestrel homeworld, a breathtakingly beautiful planet with turquoise oceans, emerald forests, and soaring mountain ranges. The Kestrel capital city, a sprawling metropolis of organic architecture and shimmering energy fields, welcomed the Terran delegation with open arms. Captain Stone and his senior officers were granted an audience with the Kestrel Elders, a council of wise and ancient beings who held the collective knowledge and wisdom of their race. The Elders, their bodies adorned with intricate patterns of bioluminescent markings, greeted the Terrans with warmth and respect. "We have watched your journey with great interest, Terrans," the eldest elder said, her voice a gentle melody. "Your courage, curiosity, and respect for life have impressed us deeply. We believe that your presence in our galaxy is a sign of great things to come." Stone, humbled by the elder's words, bowed his head in gratitude. "We are honored to be here, Elder. We have much to learn from your people, and we hope to forge a lasting friendship with the Kestrel." The eldest elder smiled, her feathers rustling softly. "We share your hope, Captain. We believe that our two civilizations can learn much from each other, and together we can face the challenges that lie ahead." The summit between the Terran and Kestrel leaders was a resounding success. They exchanged knowledge, shared cultural traditions, and discussed potential areas of cooperation. The Terrans were particularly interested in the Kestrel's advanced medical technology and their mastery of renewable energy sources. The Kestrel, in turn, were fascinated by the Terrans' resourcefulness, their adaptability, and their unwavering determination to overcome adversity. They saw in the Terrans a kindred spirit, a race that shared their values of peace, knowledge, and respect for all life. The two civilizations forged a formal alliance, pledging to support each other in times of need and to work together for the betterment of the galaxy. The alliance was a beacon of hope in a galaxy often marred by conflict and distrust. It was a testament to the power of understanding, the potential for unity, and the enduring spirit of two races who dared to reach across the stars and forge a new path together. After a fruitful stay on the Kestrel homeworld, the Odyssey continued its mission of exploration. The ship ventured deeper into the Andromeda Galaxy, following a series of coordinates provided by the Kestrel Elders. These coordinates, the Elders explained, led to a region of space known as the Nexus, a crossroads of interstellar trade routes and a hub of cultural exchange. As the Odyssey approached the Nexus, its sensors detected a vast nebula, its swirling clouds of gas and dust obscuring the stars beyond. The crew, intrigued by the anomaly, decided to investigate. The ship cautiously entered the nebula, its navigation systems straining to maintain course in the disorienting environment. As they ventured deeper, the sensors picked up a series of strange signals, pulsing rhythmically through the cosmic haze. "Captain," Dr. Chen reported, her brow furrowed in concentration, "these signals are unlike anything we've encountered before. They seem to be artificial, but their structure is incredibly complex and almost organic." Stone leaned forward, his eyes scanning the data on the screen. "Can you isolate the source of the signals?" Chen nodded. "I'm working on it. It seems to be coming from a large object at the heart of the nebula." The Odyssey cautiously approached the object, its sensors revealing a massive structure, unlike anything the Terrans had ever seen. It was a sprawling complex of interconnected spheres, each pulsating with energy and emitting the strange signals that had attracted the ship's attention. "What in the cosmos is that?" Lieutenant Ramirez whispered, her voice filled with awe and trepidation. Stone, his instincts on high alert, ordered the crew to red alert. "Prepare for anything," he said, his voice grim. "This could be a trap." The Odyssey slowed to a crawl, its weapons systems online and ready to engage. As they drew closer to the structure, the signals intensified, and the ship's systems began to malfunction. The lights flickered, the engines sputtered, and the communications array went offline. Suddenly, a booming voice echoed through the ship's comm system, its tone both menacing and seductive. "Welcome, travelers, to the Oracle," it said. "We have been expecting you." The crew exchanged panicked glances. They were trapped, their ship at the mercy of an unknown entity. Stone, his mind racing, tried to assess the situation. Was this a threat? An invitation? A warning? He had no answers, only questions, And as the Odyssey drifted closer to the Oracle, the questions multiplied, filling the ship with a sense of dread and uncertainty. The Terrans had stumbled upon something far beyond their comprehension, something that could either elevate them to new heights or destroy them utterly. As the Odyssey edged closer to the structure, the ship's systems continued to malfunction. Warning lights flashed, alarms blared, and even the artificial gravity fluctuated, leaving the crew disoriented and nauseous. Captain Stone, his face grim with determination, clenched the arms of his command chair. "Engineering, report," he barked. The chief engineer's voice crackled over the comm system, strained with worry. "We're losing power to the main engines, Captain. Life support is unstable, and the navigation system is completely offline. Damage control teams, secure all loose objects and prepare for emergency evacuation," Stone ordered, his voice echoing through the ship's speakers. "Science team, continue analyzing the signals. We need to know what we're dealing with." Dr. Chen, her eyes glued to her console, spoke up. "The signals are getting stronger, Captain. They seem to be interacting with our ship's systems, but I can't decipher their intent." Stone turned to Lieutenant Ramirez, the ship's tactical officer. "Weapons status?" "All systems operational, Captain," Ramirez replied, her voice steady despite the escalating chaos. "But I wouldn't recommend firing unless we know what we're up against." Stone nodded in agreement. Firing blindly into the unknown would be a foolish move. They needed more information, more understanding of the entity that had ensnared them. Suddenly, the ship lurched violently, throwing crew members to the deck. The lights went out, plunging the bridge into darkness. Emergency lighting flickered on, casting long, eerie shadows across the consoles. "What the hell was that?" Stone shouted, struggling to regain his footing. "The ship's been pulled out of warp," the navigator cried out. "We're drifting towards the structure." Stone's heart sank. They were losing control, their ship a plaything in the hands of a mysterious force. He glanced at the holo display, where the Oracle loomed larger with each passing second. Its pulsating spheres seemed to beckon them closer, their energy washing over the Odyssey like a tidal wave. The voice of the Oracle echoed through the ship once more, its tone a chilling mix of amusement and menace. "Fear not, Terrans," it said. "We mean you no harm. We merely wish to communicate." Stone, his voice tight with apprehension, responded. "Identify yourself. What do you want from us?" "We are the Oracle," the voice replied. "We are the keepers of knowledge, the guardians of wisdom. We have observed your species with great interest, and we believe that you have the potential to shape the destiny of the galaxy." Stone's mind reeled. Was this a test? A prophecy? An offer? He had no way of knowing, but he sensed that the fate of humanity might hinge on his next words. The bridge of the Odyssey was a tableau of tense anticipation. Every crew member, from the seasoned Captain Stone to the greenest ensign, held their breath, waiting for the Oracle's response. The voice, when it finally came, was devoid of the earlier amusement. It was a solemn tone, laced with an ancient wisdom that sent shivers down Stone's spine. "Captain Stone," the Oracle intoned, "and to the crew of the Terran vessel Odyssey, we extend our greetings. Your journey has been long and fraught with peril, but you have proven yourselves worthy of our attention." Stone swallowed, his throat suddenly dry. "We are honored, Oracle," he managed to say, "but we are also wary. We do not know your intentions." The Oracle's response was swift and reassuring. "We harbor no ill will towards you, Terrans. In fact, we believe that your arrival marks a turning point in the history of this galaxy." Confusion rippled through the bridge. What could the Oracle mean? Were they pawns in some grand cosmic game? "We have observed your species for millennia," the Oracle continued, "watching as you clawed your way out of obscurity, facing countless challenges and overcoming seemingly insurmountable odds. Your resilience, ingenuity, and unwavering spirit have impressed us deeply." A flicker of pride ignited in Stone's chest. The Oracle's words echoed the sentiments he had expressed to his crew countless times. But your journey is far from over, the Oracle warned. The galaxy is a vast and dangerous place, filled with wonders and horrors beyond your comprehension. You will face trials that will test your mettle, challenges that will push you to your limits. Stone's grip tightened on the arms of his chair. He knew that the Oracle spoke the truth. The Terrans had already faced their share of dangers, and they were prepared to face more. "We are not afraid of challenges," Stone declared, his voice firm and resolute. "We are explorers, pioneers, the inheritors of a legacy of courage and determination. We will not back down from whatever the galaxy throws our way." The Oracle seemed pleased with his response. "Your spirit is strong, Captain Stone, but strength alone is not enough. You will need wisdom, guidance, and the knowledge of the past to navigate the treacherous path ahead." A wave of static washed over the comm system, followed by a series of images flashing across the holo display. They were scenes from Earth's history, depicting moments of triumph and tragedy, of innovation and destruction. "These are your ancestors, Captain Stone," the Oracle said. "Learn from their mistakes, draw inspiration from their successes. Their wisdom will guide you through the darkness." The images faded, replaced by the glowing form of the Oracle. "We offer you a gift, Terrans," it said. "The knowledge of the past, the wisdom of the ages. Accept it, and you will be better equipped to face the challenges that lie ahead." Stone hesitated for a moment, unsure whether to trust the Oracle's offer. But something in the entity's voice, a sense of benevolence and sincerity, convinced him. "We accept your gift, Oracle," he said, his voice filled with both gratitude and apprehension. "We will not disappoint you." The Odyssey's systems flickered back to life, the hum of the engines returning as the ship gently detached from the Oracle's grasp. The bridge lights illuminated, revealing the crew members' faces, etched with a mix of relief and awe. Captain Stone let out a long breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "Status report," he commanded, his voice still shaky from the ordeal. "All systems nominal, Captain," the chief engineer reported, a hint of disbelief in his voice. "It's like the Oracle just let us go." "Not without a parting gift, Dr. Chen added, her eyes glued to her console. "The Oracle has uploaded a massive amount of data into our systems. It appears to be historical records, cultural artifacts, scientific knowledge." Stone exchanged a look with Ramirez, a silent question hanging in the air. What did the Oracle intend for them to do with this information? "It's a gift, Captain," the ship's AI, Athena, chimed in, her voice calm and reassuring. "The Oracle believes that this knowledge will help us on our journey." Stone nodded slowly, a sense of wonder replacing his apprehension. "Very well, Athena. Begin analyzing the data. Let's see what the Oracle has deemed us worthy of." As the Odyssey continued its journey through the Andromeda Galaxy, the crew immersed themselves in the Oracle's gift. They studied ancient texts, deciphered alien languages, and marveled at the technological advancements of civilizations long gone. The knowledge they gained was vast and humbling, revealing the interconnectedness of all life in the universe and the cyclical nature of history. They learned of ancient empires that had risen and fallen, of wars fought and alliances forged, of species that had evolved and adapted to the ever-changing challenges of the cosmos. They discovered that the galaxy was a place of both wonder and danger, of beauty and brutality, of hope and despair. But above all, they learned about themselves. The Oracle's gift had not only expanded their knowledge of the universe, but also deepened their understanding of their own humanity. They saw the echoes of their ancestors in the struggles and triumphs of other races, and they realized that their place in the cosmos was not one of isolation, but of interconnectedness. The Odyssey's mission had taken on a new dimension. They were no longer just explorers, but also students, eager to learn from the wisdom of the ages and apply it to their own journey. They knew that the challenges ahead would be daunting, but they also knew that they were not alone. They carried with them the knowledge and the spirit of countless generations, a legacy that would guide them through the darkness and light the way to a brighter future. The Odyssey continued its exploration of the Andromeda Galaxy, guided by the Oracle's cryptic clues and fragments of ancient knowledge. The crew, now armed with a deeper understanding of their place in the cosmos, approached each new encounter with a newfound wisdom and humility. They visited lush jungle planets where sentient plant life communicated through bioluminescent displays, and icy moons where enigmatic creatures thrived in the frigid depths of subterranean oceans. They encountered advanced civilizations that had mastered the art of teleportation, and primitive tribes that lived in harmony with the natural world. Each encounter was a learning experience, a chance to expand their understanding of the universe and their place within it. They learned to approach each new species with respect and an open mind, seeking common ground and shared interests. One such encounter took place on a desert planet, home to a race of nomadic traders known as the Rail. The Rail, renowned for their shrewd bargaining skills and vast knowledge of interstellar markets, were initially wary of the Terrans, seeing them as potential competitors. But Captain Stone, drawing on the diplomatic skills he had honed during his years of service, managed to win their trust. He offered them a fair trade agreement, sharing Terran technology in exchange for the Rail's knowledge of the Andromeda Galaxy's trade routes and political landscape. The Rail, impressed by Stone's honesty and generosity, accepted the offer. They became valuable allies, providing the Terrans with vital information and access to a vast network of contacts throughout the galaxy. The Odyssey's journey was not without its dangers. They encountered pirate fleets, hostile environments, and even a rogue artificial intelligence that sought to assimilate the ship's systems. But each challenge was met with courage, ingenuity, and the collective wisdom of the crew. They utilized the Oracle's knowledge to decipher ancient texts, uncover hidden paths through treacherous nebulae, and even predict the movements of hostile fleets. The Oracle's gift had not only expanded their understanding of the universe, but also empowered them to face its many dangers. As the Odyssey ventured further into Andromeda, they began to unravel a deeper mystery, one that had been hinted at by the Oracle. They discovered ancient ruins scattered across various planets, each bearing the same enigmatic symbol, a stylized depiction of a human figure reaching towards the stars. These ruins, the Oracle explained, were remnants of an ancient civilization known as the Precursors, a race of beings who had once ruled over a vast interstellar empire. The Precursors had vanished millennia ago, leaving behind only their enigmatic artifacts and a legacy shrouded in mystery. The Terrans, driven by their insatiable curiosity and their desire to understand their place in the cosmos, began to piece together the fragments of Precursor history. They explored the ruins, analyzed the artifacts, and consulted with other races who had encountered the Precursor's legacy. Their quest for knowledge led them on a thrilling chase across the galaxy, from the glittering spires of the Kestrel homeworld to the desolate wastelands of a forgotten planet. Along the way, they faced numerous challenges, both external and internal, as they grappled with the implications of their discoveries and their own place in the grand scheme of things. Their journey led them to a desolate world shrouded in perpetual twilight. The planet's surface was scarred by ancient craters and canyons, its atmosphere thin and barely breathable. Yet, the Oracle's data indicated that this barren wasteland held a crucial piece of the Precursor puzzle. As the Odyssey descended through the murky atmosphere, its sensors detected a massive underground structure, hidden beneath layers of rock and sediment. Stone ordered a landing party, led by himself and Dr. Lawson, to investigate. Equipped with advanced scanners and protective suits, the landing party ventured into the depths of the subterranean complex. The tunnels were eerily silent, their walls adorned with faded murals depicting scenes of a vibrant civilization. As they ventured deeper, the air grew warmer, and the sound of rushing water echoed through the tunnels. They emerged into a vast cavern, its ceiling adorned with glowing crystals that illuminated the space with an ethereal light. In the center of the cavern, surrounded by a shimmering pool of water, stood a massive, intricate machine. Its surface was covered in intricate carvings and symbols, its purpose a mystery. Dr. Lawson, her eyes wide with wonder, approached the machine cautiously. "It's beautiful," she whispered, her voice filled with awe. Stone, his hand hovering over his facer, remained vigilant. Beautiful, perhaps, he said, but also potentially dangerous. We don't know what this thing is capable of. As the landing party circled the machine, they noticed a series of pedestals arranged around its base. Each pedestal held a crystal sphere, similar to the ones that adorned the cavern's ceiling. Dr. Lawson, her curiosity piqued, reached out and touched one of the spheres. Instantly, the machine sprang to life, its symbols glowing with an intense light. A holographic projection flickered into existence above the machine, depicting a humanoid figure clad in flowing robes. The figure spoke, its voice echoing through the cavern. "Greetings, travelers," it said, its tone both welcoming and enigmatic. "We are the Precursors, and we have been expecting you." The landing party froze, their hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. They were face to face with the creators of the enigmatic ruins, the architects of a civilization that had vanished millennia ago. The Precursor projection continued, its voice resonating with ancient wisdom. "We have left behind a legacy for those who are worthy, a gift of knowledge and understanding. But it is a gift that comes with a burden, a responsibility to use it wisely and for the betterment of all." The Precursor's words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The Terrans knew that they had stumbled upon something momentous, something that could change the course of history. But they also knew that the Precursor's legacy was not to be taken lightly. The fate of the galaxy might very well rest in their hands. As the Precursor spoke, the holographic figure gestured towards the crystal spheres on the pedestals. "These spheres," it explained, "contain the collective wisdom of our civilization, the knowledge we have accumulated over millennia of existence." The Terrans exchanged glances, a mixture of awe and trepidation etched on their faces. They had stumbled upon a treasure trove of information, a library of knowledge that could potentially reshape their understanding of the universe. But was it a gift or a burden? "We offer you this knowledge," the Precursor continued, "not as a reward, but as a responsibility. The universe is at a crossroads, facing challenges that threaten its very existence. We believe that you, Terrans, have the potential to shape the future, to guide the galaxy towards a brighter path." Stone, his brow furrowed in concentration, spoke up. "We are honored by your faith in us, Precursor, but we are a young species, still finding our way in the cosmos. Are we truly ready for such a responsibility?" The Precursor's image smiled, its eyes twinkling with a knowing light. "Readiness is not a state of being, Captain Stone, but a state of mind. You have demonstrated your courage, your ingenuity, and your compassion. These are the qualities that will guide you through the darkness." The Precursor paused, its gaze sweeping across the faces of the Terran landing party. "The knowledge we offer is vast and complex," it warned. "It will challenge your beliefs, reshape your understanding of the universe, and force you to confront difficult truths about yourselves. Are you prepared to embark on this journey of discovery?" Stone, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, exchanged glances with his crew. They had come this far, faced countless dangers, and overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. Could they turn back now, when the secrets of the universe lay within their grasp? Dr. Lawson, her eyes shining with intellectual curiosity, spoke up. "We are scientists, explorers, seekers of knowledge. The opportunity to learn from an advanced civilization like yours is a dream come true. We are ready to face whatever challenges this knowledge may bring." The rest of the landing party nodded in agreement. They had come too far to turn back now. Stone, his resolve solidified, turned back to the Precursor. "We accept your gift, Precursor," he declared. "We will honor your legacy and use this knowledge to guide us towards a brighter future." The Precursor's image nodded approvingly. "Then let the transfer begin," it said. A beam of energy shot out from the machine, engulfing the crystal spheres and bathing the landing party in a warm glow. The Terrans felt a surge of information flooding their minds, a vast and complex tapestry of knowledge that spanned millennia and countless worlds. As the transfer continued, the Terrans' minds expanded, their understanding of the universe deepening with each passing moment. They saw the rise and fall of empires, the evolution of species, the birth and death of stars. They glimpsed the infinite possibilities of the future and the profound interconnectedness of all things. When the transfer was complete, the Terrans emerged from the cavern, forever changed. They carried within them the wisdom of the Precursors, a legacy that would guide them on their journey and shape the destiny of the Terran Alliance. The Terran Alliance, now armed with a Precursor's knowledge, faced a daunting question: how to utilize this newfound wisdom responsibly. The information was vast, complex, and potentially transformative, but it also carried the weight of a forgotten civilization's hopes and dreams. President Martinez convened an emergency meeting of the Terran Council, a diverse group of leaders representing various fields of expertise. Scientists, military advisors, philosophers, and spiritual leaders gathered in the council chambers, their faces etched with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Dr. Lawson, her voice trembling slightly, addressed the council. "The knowledge we have received from the Precursors is overwhelming," she admitted. "It encompasses every field of study imaginable, from physics and cosmology to art and philosophy. It's a treasure trove of information, but it's also a Pandora's box. We must proceed with caution." Admiral Sokolov, ever the pragmatist, nodded in agreement. "We cannot allow this knowledge to fall into the wrong hands," he said. "It could be used for good or for evil. We must ensure that it is used to benefit all of humanity, not just a select few." The council debated for hours, weighing the potential benefits and risks of the Precursor knowledge. Some argued for immediate implementation, believing that the information could revolutionize Terran society and propel them to new heights. Others advocated for a more cautious approach, fearing that the knowledge could be misused or misunderstood, leading to unforeseen consequences. In the end, a compromise was reached. A special task force, comprised of experts from various fields, would be established to study and analyze the Precursor data. They would be tasked with identifying the most promising technologies and knowledge, while also ensuring that any potential risks were thoroughly assessed and mitigated. The task force, dubbed Project Prometheus, set to work with fervor. They established research facilities across the Terran Alliance, recruiting the brightest minds and most innovative thinkers. They collaborated with scientists from other races, sharing their findings and seeking guidance from those who had also encountered the Precursor legacy. The results of Project Prometheus were nothing short of astonishing. New energy sources were discovered, clean and virtually limitless. Medical advancements extended lifespans and cured previously incurable diseases. Technologies that were once thought impossible, such as faster-than-light communication and teleportation, became a reality. But the Precursor knowledge also brought with it a deeper understanding of the universe and humanity's place within it. The Terrans learned that they were not alone, that countless other civilizations had risen and fallen throughout the vast expanse of time and space. They discovered that the universe was both beautiful and cruel, filled with wonder and suffering. This newfound awareness sparked a philosophical and spiritual awakening within the Terran Alliance. They began to question their place in the cosmos, their purpose, and their responsibility to the wider universe. They grappled with the ethical implications of their newfound power, seeking to ensure that their actions were guided by wisdom, compassion, and a deep respect for all life. The newfound knowledge and advanced technologies granted by the Precursors brought about a period of unprecedented growth and prosperity for the Terran Alliance. Earth became a beacon of innovation, its cities gleaming with towering structures that defied gravity and harnessed the power of the stars. Terran scientists, empowered by the Precursors' insights, made groundbreaking discoveries in fields ranging from medicine to materials science. Diseases that had once plagued humanity were eradicated, and new materials, stronger and lighter than anything previously known, revolutionized industries and enabled the construction of even more ambitious megastructures. The Terran Starfleet, now equipped with advanced warships and bolstered by a new generation of highly trained officers, expanded its reach across the galaxy, establishing diplomatic relations with countless alien civilizations and securing trade routes that brought wealth and prosperity to Terran worlds. But with power came responsibility. The Terran Alliance, now a major player on the galactic stage, had to navigate the complex web of interstellar politics and balance its own interests with the needs of the wider community. President Martinez, a wise and experienced leader, guided the Terran Alliance through these turbulent times. She established a Council of Galactic Affairs, a forum where representatives from different races could meet to discuss issues of mutual concern and seek peaceful solutions to conflicts. Under Martinez's leadership, the Terran Alliance became a champion of peace and cooperation, advocating for diplomacy over conflict and offering aid to those in need. They shared their knowledge and technology with less advanced civilizations, helping them to overcome poverty, disease, and environmental degradation. However, not all welcomed the Terrans' rise to power. Some saw them as a threat, a young and ambitious species that could disrupt the established order. Others envied their technological advancements and sought to steal their secrets. One such faction was the remnants of the Zylt Empire's old guard, who still clung to their dreams of galactic domination. They had gone underground after Zalter's coup, biding their time and plotting their revenge. Led by a cunning and ruthless admiral named Villar, they formed a clandestine organization known as the Obsidian Claw, dedicated to undermining the Terran Alliance and restoring the Zylt Empire to its former glory. The Obsidian Claw began a campaign of sabotage and espionage, targeting Terran infrastructure, research facilities, and diplomatic missions. They spread disinformation, sowed discord among the Terran allies, and even launched a few audacious attacks on Terran outposts. The Terran Alliance, caught off guard by this insidious threat, struggled to respond. Their military, focused on external threats, was ill-equipped to deal with this new form of asymmetric warfare. Their intelligence agencies, still in their infancy, were outmatched by the Obsidian Claw's cunning and ruthlessness. As the Obsidian Claw's attacks grew bolder and more frequent, a sense of unease settled over the Terran Alliance. They had achieved so much in such a short time, but they were now facing a new kind of enemy, one that operated in the shadows and struck without warning. The Terrans would have to adapt once again, honing their skills in espionage, counterintelligence, and unconventional warfare. They would have to learn to fight not only on the battlefield, but also in the murky world of shadows and secrets. The future of their civilization depended on it. The Terran Alliance's intelligence agencies, though still developing, were not idle. Under the leadership of Director Emily Chen, former Starship Captain turned Spymaster, they worked tirelessly to uncover the Obsidian Claw's network and neutralize their threats. Chen, with her sharp intellect and unwavering determination, assembled a team of the best and brightest from various backgrounds. There were former soldiers, skilled in infiltration and combat, hackers who could navigate the digital labyrinth of the Zylt network, and analysts who could decipher coded messages and identify patterns in the Obsidian Claw's movements. Their first breakthrough came when a Terran agent, posing as a disgruntled Zylt officer, infiltrated a secret Obsidian Claw meeting. The agent managed to record the proceedings, revealing the organization's leadership structure, their plans for future attacks, and their hidden bases scattered throughout Zylt space. Armed with this information, the Terran Alliance launched a series of covert operations, targeting the Obsidian Claw's infrastructure and disrupting their communication networks. Terran Special Forces teams, trained in stealth and sabotage, infiltrated Zylt worlds, planting viruses in their systems, disabling their weapons caches, and eliminating key figures in the Obsidian Claw hierarchy. The Obsidian Claw, caught off guard by the Terran counteroffensive, scrambled to retaliate. They launched a series of desperate attacks, hoping to sow chaos and panic among the Terran population. But their efforts were in vain. The Terran Alliance, now forewarned and prepared, countered each attack with swift and decisive action. In a daring raid on a hidden Obsidian Claw base on a remote Zylt colony, Terran Special Forces captured Villar, the organization's leader. Villar, a cunning and ruthless tactician, had been the mastermind behind the Obsidian Claw's campaign of terror. His capture was a major blow to the organization, leaving them leaderless and demoralized. With Villar in custody, the Terran Alliance gained valuable intel on the Obsidian Claw's remaining forces and their plans for future attacks. They used this information to systematically dismantle the organization, neutralizing their cells one by one and bringing their leaders to justice. The Obsidian Claw, once a shadowy menace threatening the stability of the Terran Alliance, was now a fading memory, a reminder of the challenges and dangers that awaited humanity in this new galaxy. But the Terrans, having proven their resilience and adaptability once again, emerged from the conflict stronger and more united than ever before. The dismantling of the Obsidian Claw did not signal an end to the Terran Alliance's challenges. The galaxy, vast and teeming with diverse civilizations, was a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and hidden agendas. The Terrans' rapid rise to prominence had unsettled the established order, and many factions watched their every move with suspicion and envy. In the Galactic Council, the Terran delegation, led by Ambassador Novikov, faced a constant barrage of questions, criticisms, and veiled threats. Some delegates accused the Terrans of warmongering, citing their victory over the Zylt Empire as evidence of their aggressive nature. Others demanded access to Terran technology, claiming it was rightfully theirs due to the Precursor's legacy. Novikov, a seasoned diplomat, navigated these treacherous waters with skill and finesse. She deflected accusations, countered demands, and forged alliances with like-minded races who valued peace and cooperation. But she knew that the Terran Alliance could not rely on diplomacy alone to ensure its survival. Admiral Sokolov, ever mindful of the potential for future conflict, continued to strengthen the Terran Starfleet. He oversaw the construction of new warships, the development of advanced weapon systems, and the training of a new generation of pilots and soldiers. He also established a network of listening posts and sensor arrays throughout Terran space, keeping a vigilant watch for any signs of aggression. The Terran Alliance's military might was not intended for conquest, but for deterrence. Sokolov believed that a strong defense was the best way to prevent future conflicts and protect the hard-won peace. He also understood the importance of diplomacy and cultural exchange, working closely with Novikov to forge alliances and promote understanding between different races. The Terrans' relationship with the Zylt Empire remained a delicate balancing act. While Zalter's government was officially committed to peace, there were still factions within the Zylt military and intelligence apparatus who resented the Terrans and sought to undermine the Olympus Accords. Novikov and Zalter, despite their initial distrust, developed a grudging respect for each other. They recognized that their two civilizations, though vastly different, shared a common interest in stability and prosperity. They worked together to address common threats, share intelligence, and promote trade and cultural exchange. Their efforts were not always successful. Misunderstandings and cultural clashes still occurred, and the specter of war loomed large over their uneasy alliance. But both leaders were determined to make the peace work, knowing that the alternative was too terrible to contemplate. The Terran Alliance, once a fledgling power struggling for survival, had become a major player in the galactic arena. They had faced adversity, overcome challenges, and emerged stronger and more united than ever before. But their journey was far from over. The galaxy was a vast and unpredictable place, and the Terrans knew that they would have to remain vigilant and adaptable if they were to thrive in this new era of interstellar diplomacy and conflict. The Terran Alliance's rise to prominence had not gone unnoticed by the other major powers in the Andromeda Galaxy. Among them was the Andromeda Concord, a coalition of ancient and influential civilizations that had long maintained a delicate balance of power in the region. Intrigued by the Terrans' unexpected victory over the Zylt Empire and their rapid technological advancements, the Concord extended an invitation to the Terran Alliance to join their ranks. It was an unprecedented offer, one that no other newcomer had ever received. The Terran Council debated the invitation fiercely. Some argued that joining the Concord would provide the Alliance with much-needed protection and resources, while others feared that it would compromise their independence and drag them into conflicts that were not their own. Ambassador Novikov, ever the pragmatist, saw the invitation as an opportunity. The Concord is a powerful alliance, she argued. By joining their ranks, we gain access to their vast network of resources, their advanced technology, and their diplomatic influence. We also gain a voice in galactic affairs, a chance to shape the future of the Andromeda Galaxy. Admiral Sokolov, while acknowledging the potential benefits, remained cautious. The Concord is not a benevolent organization, he warned. They have their own agenda, their own interests. We must be careful not to become pawns in their games. President Martinez, after listening to both sides, made the final decision. We will accept the Concord's invitation, she declared, but we will do so on our own terms. We will not compromise our values, our independence, or our commitment to peace. The Terran delegation, led by Novikov, traveled to the Concord's capital world, a majestic planet known as Harmony. There, they were greeted with a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and grudging respect. The Concord Council, a diverse group of representatives from various races, was intrigued by the Terrans' unique history and their rapid rise to power. They were also wary of their potential, their unproven abilities, and their unknown intentions. Novikov, a skilled diplomat, navigated the complex political landscape of the Concord with grace and determination. She presented the Terran Alliance as a force for good, a civilization committed to peace, cooperation, and the pursuit of knowledge. She also made it clear that the Terrans would not be dictated to, that they would remain independent and true to their own values. Her words resonated with many of the Concord counselors, who saw in the Terrans a potential ally against the growing threat of the Vrax Empire. The Vrax, a technologically advanced and ruthlessly expansionist power, had been encroaching on Concord territory, sparking fears of a galactic war. After weeks of intense negotiations, the Terran Alliance was officially inducted into the Andromeda Concord. It was a momentous occasion, a turning point in human history. The Terrans had not only earned their place in the galaxy, but they had also become a key player in the fight for its future. Joining the Andromeda Concord opened up a wealth of opportunities for the Terran Alliance. They gained access to vast libraries of knowledge, advanced technologies, and a network of allies who shared their values and aspirations. But it also exposed them to new challenges and threats, as they became embroiled in the complex political landscape of the galaxy. The Concord, while united in its opposition to the Vrax Empire, was not a monolithic entity. Its member races held diverse beliefs, customs, and agendas. Some were eager to embrace the Terrans, seeing them as valuable allies and a source of fresh ideas. Others, more conservative and traditionalist, viewed the Terrans with suspicion, fearing their rapid rise to power and their unorthodox methods. Ambassador Novikov, now a seasoned veteran of galactic diplomacy, found herself walking a tightrope, balancing the interests of the Terran Alliance with the demands and expectations of the Concord. She had to build consensus, forge compromises, and defend her people's right to self-determination. One of the most pressing issues facing the Concord was the growing Vrax threat. The Vrax, a race of cybernetically enhanced warriors, had conquered vast swaths of the Andromeda Galaxy, their insatiable hunger for power fueled by a belief in their own superiority. They viewed other races as inferior, fit only to be assimilated into their collective consciousness. The Concord had long resisted the Vrax's advances, but their defenses were strained. The Vrax's technology was formidable, their tactics ruthless, and their numbers seemingly endless. They had already conquered several member races of the Concord, absorbing their knowledge and resources into their ever-growing empire. The Terrans, with their unique blend of technological prowess and strategic ingenuity, were seen as a potential game-changer in the fight against the Vrax. Their victory at Epsilon Eridani had demonstrated their ability to outsmart and outmaneuver a superior foe, and their newfound access to Precursor knowledge had given them a technological edge that could not be ignored. Admiral Sokolov, eager to prove the Terran Alliance's worth to the Concord, volunteered the Starfleet's services in the fight against the Vrax. He proposed a joint task force, combining the Terrans' tactical expertise with the Concord's vast resources and intelligence network. The proposal was met with both enthusiasm and skepticism. Some Concord leaders saw it as a desperate measure, a sign of the Terrans' overconfidence. Others recognized the potential of a combined force, a united front against a common enemy. After much debate, the Concord Council approved Sokolov's proposal. A joint task force, codenamed Operation Unity, was formed, with Sokolov appointed as its commander. The task force was comprised of Terran and Concord ships, crewed by a diverse mix of soldiers, pilots, and specialists from various races. Operation Unity marked a new chapter in the Terran Alliance's history. They were no longer just fighting for their own survival. They were fighting for the future of the entire galaxy. Operation Unity's first mission was to disrupt the Vrax's supply lines, targeting their logistics hubs and resource extraction facilities. The Terrans, utilizing their knowledge of unconventional warfare and their experience in guerrilla tactics, spearheaded these daring raids, striking swiftly and silently behind enemy lines. Captain Chen, now commanding a squadron of Terran stealth fighters, led the charge. Her squadron, equipped with experimental cloaking devices and advanced electronic warfare suites, infiltrated Vrax-controlled space, disabling their sensor arrays and sabotaging their supply depots. On one such mission, Chen's squadron was tasked with destroying a Vrax fuel refinery located on a barren moon. The refinery, heavily fortified and guarded by a swarm of Vrax drones, was a critical link in the Vrax supply chain. Chen, a master of deception and misdirection, devised a cunning plan. She divided her squadron into two groups. The first group, led by herself, would create a diversionary attack, drawing the Vrax drones away from the refinery. The second group, led by Lieutenant Ramirez, would then swoop in and plant explosives on the refinery's vulnerable cooling systems. The plan worked flawlessly. Chen's group engaged the Vrax drones in a fierce dogfight, utilizing their superior agility and firepower to keep the enemy occupied. Meanwhile, Ramirez and her team, cloaked in the shadows of the moon's craters, planted their explosives and escaped undetected. Minutes later, the refinery erupted in a series of catastrophic explosions, sending shockwaves across the moon's surface and plumes of smoke billowing into space. The loss of the refinery crippled the Vrax fleet operating in the region, forcing them to retreat and regroup. Chen's squadron returned to the Terran flagship, the Odyssey, to a hero's welcome. Their daring raid had not only dealt a significant blow to the Vrax war effort, but had also boosted the morale of the entire task force. News of the Terrans' success spread throughout the galaxy, earning them the admiration of their Concord allies and the grudging respect of their Zylt counterparts. The Terrans had proven their worth on the battlefield, demonstrating that they were not just a force for peace, but also a formidable weapon of war. But the war against the Vrax was far from over. The cybernetic empire, enraged by the Terrans' audacity, retaliated with a series of devastating attacks on Terran colonies and outposts. The Terrans, once again, found themselves fighting for their survival, their newfound power and influence tested in the crucible of war. The conflict escalated, spreading across multiple star systems and drawing in other races who had long remained neutral. The galaxy was on the brink of a full-scale war, a conflict that could potentially consume entire civilizations and leave countless worlds in ruins. The Terran Alliance, once a beacon of hope, now found itself at the center of a galactic maelstrom, its destiny intertwined with the fate of the entire Andromeda galaxy. The Vrax retaliation was swift and brutal. They launched a series of devastating attacks on Terran colonies, utilizing advanced weaponry and overwhelming numbers to inflict heavy casualties. Terran outposts were overrun, cities were reduced to rubble, and countless lives were lost. The Terran Alliance, caught off guard by the ferocity of the Vrax assault, scrambled to defend its territories. The Starfleet, stretched thin across the vast expanse of space, struggled to contain the onslaught. The once bright hopes of peace and prosperity were now overshadowed by the specter of war and destruction. In the face of this existential threat, the Terrans' resilience and determination were tested like never before. They fought with a courage and tenacity that had defined their ancestors, refusing to surrender their hard-won freedom. Admiral Sokolov, his heart heavy with the burden of command, rallied his forces, deploying them strategically to protect key assets and evacuate vulnerable populations. He also reached out to the other members of the Andromeda Concord, pleading for reinforcements and support. The Concord, recognizing the severity of the threat, responded with a massive mobilization of its own forces. Fleets from various races converged on Terran space, their combined might forming a formidable bulwark against the Vrax onslaught. The war raged across multiple star systems, a chaotic ballet of laser fire, missile strikes, and daring maneuvers. Terran pilots, utilizing their Zylt-inspired fighters and their knowledge of unconventional tactics, proved to be a thorn in the Vrax's side, inflicting heavy casualties and disrupting their lines of communication. On the ground, Terran soldiers fought tooth and nail to defend their homes and families. They utilized guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and improvised weapons to harry the Vrax forces, making every inch of territory a costly prize. The Terran spirit was unbroken, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge that they were not alone. The other races of the Concord, inspired by the Terrans' tenacity, fought alongside them with equal fervor, their combined forces slowly turning the tide of the war. The conflict was a crucible, forging new alliances and testing old loyalties. The Terrans, once viewed with suspicion by some members of the Concord, now earned their respect and admiration through their courage and sacrifice. The Zylt Empire, despite their initial reluctance, eventually joined the fight, their new leadership recognizing the shared threat posed by the Vrax. The war was a brutal and bloody affair, with countless lives lost on both sides. But the Terrans, driven by their unwavering belief in their own destiny, refused to yield. They fought not just for survival, but for a future where all races could coexist in peace and harmony. The Terran Alliance's victory over the Vrax did not mark the end of their trials, but rather the beginning of a new era. The galaxy, once a vast and mysterious expanse, was now their home, a stage upon which they would play a pivotal role. The scars of war ran deep, but the Terrans, hardened by their experiences, emerged from the conflict with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper understanding of their place in the cosmos. They had learned that peace was not a passive state, but an active pursuit that required constant vigilance, diplomacy, and a willingness to defend their values. Ambassador Novikov, hailed as a hero and a visionary leader, continued to represent the Terran Alliance on the galactic stage, her voice carrying weight and influence in the Andromeda Concord. She forged new alliances, mediated conflicts, and championed the cause of peace and cooperation. Admiral Sokolov, his legend cemented in the annals of Terran history, oversaw the continued growth and modernization of the Starfleet. He implemented new training programs, developed cutting-edge technologies, and instilled in his officers and crew the same spirit of courage and innovation that had led them to victory. Dr. Sufferson Lawson and her team, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, continued their exploration of the Precursor legacy. They delved deeper into the mysteries of the universe, unlocking secrets that had remained hidden for millennia. Their discoveries not only advanced Terran science and technology, but also enriched their understanding of their own humanity. The Terran Alliance, once a fledgling power, had become a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, and a force for good in the galaxy. Their journey was far from over, but they faced the future with confidence, knowing that they had the strength, the wisdom, and the spirit to overcome any challenge that came their way. The story of the Terran Alliance is a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. It is a tale of courage, ingenuity, and the unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit. It is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, even in the darkest of times, humanity can rise above adversity and achieve greatness. The Terrans had come a long way from their humble beginnings on Earth. They had faced war, loss, and the daunting challenges of a new and unknown galaxy. But they had persevered, guided by the wisdom of their ancestors, the knowledge of the Precursors, and their own unwavering determination. Their journey was a testament to the human spirit, a spirit that refused to be extinguished, a spirit that dared to dream, to explore, and to reach for the stars. The Terran Alliance had found its place in the cosmos, and it was a place of honor, respect, and endless possibilities.